last year we grew 70,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables on that farm. We do so with 1.5 staff members and then all volunteers. So corporate groups of people, school groups, all kinds of people. They come in, they plant seeds, they weed, they harvest, they do everything. And 70,000 pounds has come in. And so one of my focuses has really been, what else can we do? We recently started a program that program happens during the summer, but when the harvest season ends and all that stuff is distributed to our agency partners across the city, there's no more fresh produce. Yeah. So for the first time, we've been buying produce during the winter months. So we've started small with a kind of a test program, potatoes, carrots, onions, oranges, apples, some simple stuff. But we've been beginning to purchase those items and distribute it so that we can, our goal would be that we can have fruits and vegetables available to our agencies all year round, and not just when we're growing it or when it's donated.
And I see that firsthand because I volunteer at the Parkdale Food Center as a shopper, and I love when you go around at the end. We do the fruits and vegetables, and they just our neighbors light up when they get to think creatively of this kind of fruit, this vegetable. Yeah. Now we get to sit around as a family and come up with healthier options. Yeah. And so that's a big thing that we're looking at going forward.
I have to assume that's been a pretty big change across the board, is the fresh fruits and vegetables that is being that you're able to give, right? I'm assuming before it was more non-perishable food items that people were getting.
I think that's more typical of a food bank is stuff that comes in a box and a can. Yeah. And we're looking at that more closely and trying to measure our progress there too. That what's the percentage of fresh stuff that we're distributing, and it's not just fruits and vegetables. We're talking about ground beef, we're talking about chicken, we're talking about pork, milk, eggs, cheese, yogurt.
All things that allow you to be a little bit more healthy, I'm sure, for these families that are in need of it.
Well, especially for families who are, receiving help from a program, for over a longer period of time. I mean, we've all had the items that are, come in a box or a can once in a while, and we enjoy it, it's fine. Yeah. I think the concern comes when you have a family, for whatever reason, is in a situation where they're eating that type of food over an extended period of time. That's when it starts to become an issue. Yeah. When the sodium and some of the contents become a concern. So we're really trying to move the needle on, giving families better options and getting more of that good food out there.
Yeah. So how many monthly people are we seeing at the food centers using them now? Has there been an increase, a decrease?
Yeah, last year we reported a year-over-year increase of 5%, and for the first time we've crossed over 50,000 people. So I think the count right now, the average monthly count is 51,000, just over 51,000 people.
And and if you compare that with other cities per capita, or in Canada or the United States even, how is that on par? Is that
It's a bit of a mixed bag across the country. One of the things that we saw an increase in a number of cities in Ontario specifically, a number of cities in Canada too. But one of the things that happened in Ontario was we saw an increase in the number of people coming to a food bank for the first time. Mm-hmm. And that was the other stat that we reported last fall, the 5% increase. But we saw a 17% increase in the number of people turning to the Ottawa Food Bank for the very first time. So, and that was kind of, people kind of say, why? Like in Ottawa? Like we're recession proof and we're a government town and we're this and we're that. Like this can't be possible. But, the numbers show that the need is there in the community and that the economy is not quite back to what it was pre-2008.
And when would people go to a food bank? When, how do people know? Because it's their first time, and of course, for a lot of people, it might be they might think about it for 1 or 2 years before going. You know what? We could use this help. What kind of advice would you say to people like that? Is there a certain income that you would look at, or when would you?
What makes people eligible? I guess is
Yeah, I mean, really, each agency has. So we support, as an Ottawa Food Bank, we support a network of agencies, so 140 agencies. So each agency does a little bit slightly different work. There are community food banks, there are homeless shelters, there are school breakfast programs. There are a number of different programs. So each program has a bit of a different way of assessing the need. and helping people. I don't know that each agency has a hard number. I mean, what they're really looking for is assessing that families actually need the help. So, I mean, if people are in need, and you sometimes find people actually who, it's not always based on income level, because you could find somebody who has a home and a mortgage and a car payment, but for one circumstance or another finds themselves needing the service of a food bank. So you can't set sort of a hard line that says your income has to be, poverty line or lower, because there could be a very valid reason. And we've heard, stories of people that have lost jobs. We've heard stories of very tragic stories of, I know there was a gentleman last year, it was a story that was reported in the Ottawa Citizen, that had lost his job. He had cancer actually and went on sick leave, long-term disability. All those long-term disability, long-term leave benefits, they ran out. He was still taking very expensive medications. Found himself in a situation where he simply didn't have money to buy food. But maybe on paper was someone who you wouldn't expect to see in a food bank, but certainly needed the services of a food bank at that moment.
Or the money's got to go someplace else. And
exactly. So it's kind of a process to assess the need, and when people need the services of a food bank. Going to ottawafoodbank.ca, there's a locator tool. There are food banks. We've built a network across the city, so there's a community food bank in each community across the city. So going there, identifying the food bank that's in your community, and calling that food bank. Each food bank has different hours that they're open, offer different programs. There are meal programs where if someone's hungry tonight, they can go to that meal program and have a hot meal. Or they can get an emergency grocery supply that helps them out for a few days.
That's fantastic. They're excellent. And we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to one more song from St. Clare. This is Moving On. And we'll move on to our next segment after that, which will be Jen from Foodie Prince. And we'll be right back with Michael talking about how you can volunteer, what volunteer roles there are, some more events that are going on. And you'll want to hear about that. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Nick and Andrew. The city is buzzing with excitement, and I'm not just talking about the amazing run of the Ottawa Senators in their quest for a spot in the playoffs. With two big games this weekend against Toronto and Florida, the Sens Mile is coming early. But if hockey is not your thing and food is on your mind, then you'll be glad that this weekend is jam-packed with some fantastic culinary happenings. On the restaurant front, the Empire Grill, which has been in the Byron Market for 17 years now, was recently closed for a month due to renovations. Last week, it reopened to the public, rebranding itself as simply Empire. Heading Empire's kitchen is Chef Norm Aiken. You might recall Aiken as the former chef owner of Juniper in Westboro, which closed last fall, and he was also the winner on Chop Canada on episode 14 of season 1. Meanwhile, over in Centertown, Cher Freehold, a new restaurant specializing in large tapas plates, will be open to the public starting this Friday evening. The young and talented chef Danny Mongeon is in charge of the kitchen there. Cher is located at 327 Somerset Street West, just 2 doors down from Union 613. Now, 2 big culinary events are also taking place this Sunday. First is Table Érable, put on by the Bytown Chefs Collectives and Beau's Beer. It runs from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. So come on out and enjoy a rustic and traditional Quebecois Sugar Shack experience in support of FarmWorks and an Operation Come Home initiative. The Bytown Chefs Collectives includes 7 young chefs ranging in age from 26 to 31. You can expect them to be the new wave of up-and-coming chefs who are likely to open their own restaurants sometime in the near future. This group includes Paul Dubois of Clock Tower Pub, Kyle Mortimer-Prue of Lowertown Brewery, and Stephen LaSalle of the Albion Rooms. Now, tickets are $100, but it does include bus transportation from the Albion Rooms, which is over at the Novotel Hotel, to the Prue, Sugar Bush, and Berry Farm out in Cumberland. This bus will most likely be a school bus. Now, food and drinks are all included in your tickets, so you have lots to look forward to, such as beer from Bose, wine from the Grange of Prince Edward County, and of course, maple whiskey cocktails. You can explore the 200-acre farm by hopping on a wagon hayride. You can visit the petting zoo, enjoy maple taffy treats, or you can stay warm by the bonfire. Oh, and did I mention that you will also be enjoying a 4-course meal on top of that? So to purchase your tickets, go to eventbrite.ca and search for Table Irable, or you can visit the Facebook page of Bytown Chefs Collective. As of this morning, there were only 39 tickets left. And finally, Alton Brown is coming to Ottawa at the National Arts Centre this Sunday evening. Alton Brown Live, the Edible Inevitable Tour, has been a huge hit in the US, and it looks like the man has a loyal following in the city. Tickets are almost sold out, but there are a handful left, ranging in price from $60 to $84.50, and that does include fees. Here at Foodie Prince, Don and I have received a lot of entries for our giveaway. So check out foodieprince.com if you want to win a pair of tickets for this show. The seats are located in the orchestra section, so you'll be getting a great view. We'll be using a rafflecopter, and I'll also be announcing the winner by Friday afternoon on Twitter. So make sure you're following us at Foodie Prince, and be sure to include your email address in your entry. That way I can contact you. And that's it for today. Have a great weekend.
All right, thank you so much, St. Clare. Moving on. Thank you, Foodie Prince, Jen. Table Irable will be great, and Chef Freehouse. I'll try to get there next week. Miller, you're going to come with me. Bring Mally.
You got it.
All right, so I'd like to talk a little bit more about volunteering, because I'm so passionate about volunteering with the food bank. How can others get involved with here or other communities, and what kind of roles could they take on?
Yeah, tons of roles. We have over 3,000 volunteers
3,000.
In a year. So when we measure the volunteer hours that are contributed to our organization every year, it adds up to about 13 full-time staff. So we could not operate as an organization. I mean, we only have 24 staff, and we have about the role of 13 additional staff being done by volunteers. A huge part of it is sorting food. I mean, the whole process of all of the food being purchased and being donated, coming in and getting sorted, so that it can be distributed to agencies. That's a huge process. That is handled exclusively by volunteers. We have volunteers who assist us on our trucks to do the deliveries of food to agencies 5 days a week.
And how many trucks do you have doing that?
We run 5 trucks.
Okay.
5 to 6. We have trucks doing different things,
And you
picking
just
up
got a new
donations, and just bought a new one, and a very expensive new one, $136,000 expensive.
Wow.
Truck. Yeah, very 5-ton truck. Great capacity. All the latest technology, low emission, great fuel economy.
That's good. It'll
Saving
save
the
money in the long
Saving
run.
the long
Yeah, exactly. It's a great vehicle, and we certainly need it because our fleet was aging. But yeah, volunteering at food drives, that's a huge part.
This weekend?
We've got this weekend, spring food drive happening. Very important time of the year because it's the first food drive happening after Christmas.
Yeah.
So that's an important one.
So
and that
what's
food-
going to go on with the spring food drive? What is that?
At grocery stores. We're
Okay.
at grocery stores all across the city. So you'll see the red cages are the Ottawa Food Bank's red cages are at grocery stores all the time.
Yes.
I mean, if you see them and you're able to give, please drop a couple of items into that. This weekend we'll have volunteers encouraging you to give. They'll be giving you bags and asking you to fill those bags.
Do they still? Sorry to interrupt. Do they still have kind of pre-made